Well, tonight we have a 13 Investigates consumer warning for you. Debt collectors are targeting Hoosiers trying to collect money owed years ago, or even in some cases, debt that's already paid or even disposed of. Our investigative reporter Sandra Chapman tonight on so-called zombie debt. What you don't know could mean more money out of your own pocket.
Buried old debt coming back to life. It's called zombie debt.
Zombie debts are essentially debts that no longer can be collected.
Debt from contracts like credit cards dormant for 6 years or more. Debt discharged through bankruptcy and debt already paid. It's all supposed to be off limits.
The junk debt buying industry is a billion-dollar industry.
But 13 Investigates found the rules designed to protect you from unfair collections are being broken by collection companies and their partners.
Creditors are still trying to collect on debt that's been discharged.
Over the past year, junk debt buyer LVNV Funding paid a $12.5 million settlement to resolve allegations of unfair debt collection. Asset Acceptance agreed to a $2.5 million fine for deceptive statements and false credit reports against consumers.
We just don't understand what's going on.
Another collector, RAB Performance Recoveries of New Jersey, filed a lawsuit against Chet Pepsack of Speedway.
The debt was so far back that we can't find any record of it. They have some records of something, but we can't say yes or no.
The Pepsack's problem centers on an old credit card written off as unpaid in 2005. It's been bought and sold to 3 different collectors since then. In 2008, RAB and its attorneys filed a summons in Montgomery County seeking payment for the card. The Pepsacks didn't get the summons until almost a year later.
We went to court. They never showed up.
The case was dismissed. Nearly a year later, RAB attorneys had the lawsuit reinstated and eventually transferred to Perry Township Small Claims Court in Marion County. That was November 2011. When Pepsack was ordered to Perry Township last year, he questioned the validity of the debt and the statute of limitations that would have expired in May 2011.
They said, oh no, we filed in Montgomery County, so it's still good. And how can it be? You know, if they filed in Perry Township 6 years later.
Experts say collection companies use tactics to get the statute of limitations clock restarted. Unsuspecting consumers can trigger a new start date by making a payment on the debt, thinking it will get companies off their backs. Instead, it gives an old debt new life. Or in Pepsack's case, RAB satisfied the statute of limitations by filing the earlier lawsuit, even though it was dismissed and refiled again in the wrong court.
So they have to figure out a way where they can stop the statute from running, but at the same time get some time to locate the debtor. So they filed a lawsuit.
They can just keep refiling and refiling and refiling and refiling. You know, they can do it till I retire or die.
Wright & Lurch is a Fort Wayne law firm working for RAB. The firm also defends other debt collectors accused of violating the Federal Fair Debt Collection Practices Act here in Indiana. Wright & Lurch is pursuing the lawsuit against Pepsack. We caught up with Steve Lurch outside of Perry Township Small Claims Court to ask about zombie debt and prior allegations of illegal practices.
You can ask me all the questions you want. I'm not going to answer those questions because you don't have your facts right.
Well, tell us what the facts are.
Excuse me, I do have to go to the restroom.
Records from U.S. federal courts show a trail of lawsuits against Wright & Lurch and their clients since 2003. Complaints, settlements, and judgments against the firm for allegedly using false, deceptive, or misleading ways to collect old debt and to get information about consumers. Judgments leveled against Wright & Lurch found the firm unlawfully garnishing wages from a plaintiff's bank account, despite having knowledge of bankruptcy protection. Fair debt collection attorney Ryan Frazier took on one of the cases against the firm.
It's the high-volume, large debt collection mills that are typically violating the law the same way over and over again.
Frazier says it's a high dollars number game. Not even a $1,000 fine in a judgment like this, requiring Wright & Lurch to pay a consumer's $29,000 attorney fee, is enough to stop the violations.
$1,000 to them is not a deterrent to stop violating the law. To them, it becomes a cost of doing business.
Back in Perry Township, Steve Lurch says the records speak for themselves.
We do not sue on debt that is past the Indiana statute of limitations. Our clients take every precaution that they can to make sure that debt is not sued on past the statute of limitations.
But when pressed for more on his firm's practices, Lurch claims his profession is unfairly attacked.
You are so agenda-driven, it's sad.
Well, the agenda is to make sure that people that are coming to Marion County small claims courts are treated fairly and that their rights are upheld.
And we do that.
Outside, Chet Pepsek has grown tired. He's now agreed to pay a debt he thought was long gone.
I guess we're just paying for something that we're not sure of just to get them off our back.
Pepsek says they struck a deal, one that will make RAB Performance Recoveries a hefty profit. Here's how it breaks down. RAB Performance Recoveries purchased the debt for about 6 cents on the dollar for a purchase price of $54. In the end, the company will collect 26 times that amount, or more than $1,400. Now, after all these years, is it finally over? We asked to see the deal in writing.
This is your receipt.
That's the agreement and the receipt.
This is the agreement.
Yeah.
This is all they gave you.
Yeah.
But Pepsek does have something else.
That comes up to $1,534.87.
He recorded his meeting with Steve Lurch to make sure he buries this old debt for good.
If old debt comes back to haunt you, experts say don't ignore letters from debt collectors or courts. There's just a small window of time to investigate. Get your case reviewed. Some attorneys like Frazier will do it for free. And most of all, preserve your rights. Send a dispute letter. Companies have to provide proof of that debt. And remember, you only have a year to take action against a collector for a suspected violation. For sample dispute letters, go to WTHR.com. Sandra Chapman, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
Sandra, thank you. And if you have a problem, email our team. Just go to 13investigates@WTHR.com. We'd like to hear from you.